uploaded earlier, no? So 8 a.m. nag-post na to sa Canvas. So please check, no? Nasa discussions to. So please download the file. However, this is not yet complete, no? Hindi ko pa siya tapos kasi ang nangyari sa akin last time is nag-review ako sa exam namin sa Lasal. Review kami, tapos mamaya nag-announce si sir na wala palang exam. Next, ano na lang daw, next week na lang. Ayun, kaya naubos yung time ko kaka-review. Hindi ko natapos yung PowerPoint. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so yung nalagay ko naman dito is enough for our discussion today. Okay. So we will discuss what's electrochemistry, what is an oxidation number, how to determine the oxidation number of elements, how to balance redox reaction, and then we will have an idea about electrochemical cells later on. Okay? So yan. So electrochemistry, chapter 6 na tayo. So this is another field of chemistry which is involved with electro, kuryente. Okay? So let us define electrochemistry in its simplest sense. When you say electrochemistry, it is a branch of chemistry that deals with the interconversion of electrical energy and chemical energy. Okay? So according to the first law of thermodynamics, sabi doon is that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be converted from one form to the other. First law of thermodynamics yon. Nasa Gen Chem yon. Conservation of energy. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, the energy we harness every day, no? Itong ginagamit natin to power the laptops, to power our monitors, our cell phones, no? All those energy that are used to power up all these devices and appliances came from something else, no? So it came from something else, no? Saan sila nanggaling? So either sila ay solar energy, nuclear energy, which is wala tayo sa Pilipinas. We have the coal energy, no? So doon sila nanggaling, no? So basically all our electricity supply, no, ay galing sa other sources, no? Galing sa tubig, no? Galing sa coal na sinusunog, no? And one of the sources of energy is the batteries, 'di ba? So ano ba meron sa batteries? You have, pag binuksan mo 'yon, iba-ibang chemicals lang halo-halo dun. Okay? So you have chemicals inside that, no? And yung chemicals inside that, depending on their concentration, they can produce certain uh, energy. They can produce certain voltage. Okay? So, yun yung electrochemistry. Yun yung kagandahan niya. Kasi we are now going to look into those systems na yung chemicals na pinaghalo mo magpo-produce ng kuryente. Okay? So that is electrochemistry. We're going to understand the conversion of electrical and chemical energy. Okay? So you may ask yourself, no, important ba to sa field namin? Ah, kasi it seems that electrochemistry is no, parang pang-engineering na yan, sir, no, kasi conversion of energy, But the knowledge of electrochemistry will actually help you it will actually help you understand the apparatuses or the equipment we use in the laboratory, no. So with electrochemistry, natututo tayo to determine our glucose levels, no. Yung glucose levels kapag may diabetes, no, diabetes, no. Ang ginagawa diyan, yung blood mo, it is placed on the sample container up here, no? So, gumamit kasi ako nito just for fun. Okay. Meron ako nito sa bahay. So, yun, mag-ano ka diyan, mag-pinch ka ng daliri mo, may lalabas na blood. So, yung blood na yun, ipasok mo yun din sa container niya. And what will happen is that this device, no, will determine how much electricity can be passed through the blood, no? So, depending on the voltage that is transmitted by the blood, no, yun, malalaman niya yung glucose level mo. Siguro, the higher the voltage, the higher the glucose, the lower the voltage, the lower the glucose. So, maybe ganun yung ginagawa ng ating glucometer, no? But that's the idea, no? it makes use of electricity to measure chemicals. Okay? Same as with pH meter. I think nakagamit na nito yung karamihan during your junior high or senior high, you know? So in the pH meter, what we do is that we submerge the ito itong probe, no? So we submerge this probe, no, into the solution. And then makikita natin that we have a pH value for that, no? What is pH, 'di ba? pH tells you the concentration of H, okay? So paano niya nalalaman yung concentration ng H in our solution? By just inserting the probe. Electrochem yun, okay? So electrochem yung ginagawa nila. What they do is that this probe actually measures the voltage around the solution. So, pag nilublob mo yan, it will determine the voltage difference, no? Kunwari, ito, may voltage to na ganito. Tapos yung standard ko is may ganitong voltage, no? So, depending on the difference, you can get the pH, no? The differences in the voltages, you can get the pH. Same as with glucometer, no? So, by determining the changes in the current or in the voltage, pwede mo malaman yung glucose levels mo. Okay? So it seems that this subject is not applicable to our field, no, sa medtech, but uh, the knowledge of electrochem is very important, no, kasi it will help us appreciate our electrical devices we use in the laboratory, you know. So yun yung dahilan ba't gumagana pH meter, electrochem, by just determining the difference in the voltage or the current. Yun, may pH na nalalabas. Kaya niya i-measure yung ions. Ganun din dito. And of course, the very important application of electrochemistry is production of energy. Okay? So for example, we have this coin stuck together. Makakagawa yan ng magre-release sila ng enough electricity to power this LED light, no? Is it possible? Yes, no. This is very possible. You just need some chemicals, no, na ilalagay mo diyan sa mga papers. Ayun. Gagawin mo lang, lagay kang chemical sa paper na yan, usually zinc, and this is copper. And the voltage that will be released by this cell is 1.5 times kung ilan yan. Okay. So, yan. So basically, important yung electrochemistry, although it seems na hindi siya important. Okay? So, yun lang yung gusto ko sabihin. I want to emphasize that. Okay? So, when talking about electrochemistry, it is important for us to know the oxidation numbers first. Okay? So, are you familiar with the oxidation number? I think hindi masyado, no? Okay. Kasi sa senior high pa tinuturo, which is very matagal na, no? Kaya let's discuss oxidation number. Important to later on. Okay. So when we say oxidation number, this is the charge of an atom if the electrons were completely transferred rather than shared, no? So ibig sabihin, we are assuming that the atoms are in ionic form, no? So in determining the oxidation number, we are assuming that atoms are in ionic form, not covalent. Covalent. Okay? So gagawin natin yung electrons, i-assign natin completely to the atoms, no? And what will happen if we completely transfer the electron? Our atom will have charges, okay? Magkakaroon siya ng charge. And whatever the charge is, that is the oxidation number of the atom. Okay? So this is similar with the formal charge, which was discussed to you last semester. Medyo similar siya with the formal charge, no? However, mas specific lang yung rules for oxidation number. Okay? So, ano ginagawa niyo sa formal charge, di ba? Should minus have, no? For example, this carbon, what's the formal charge of this? What is the should? Yun yung valence electrons, which is 4. yung have, ang ginagawa namin sa ng students ko ay pinuputol namin yung bond and we count what is how much electron are left doon. Okay, so that's also 4. So ibig sabihin 0 yung formal charge niya. Okay. Um, kung nakalimutan na yan, that's okay kasi iba yung oxidation number. But again, the idea is medyo similar lang. Okay. So the oxidation number has a similar concept with the formal charge, although it has more rules now. Okay, so let's go through these rules and let's determine how we will find the oxidation numbers. Okay, general rule number 1: for an atom in its elemental form, ibig sabihin yan, it could be a single atom or diatomic atom na iisa lang yung element. So when I say single atom lang, Na lang yon. Ano pa ba? Na, K, SR, Ba, ayan. Kapag yung atom mo ay nag-iisa lang sa kanyang chemical formula, that is an elemental form. Okay. For example, oxygen, dalawang oxygen atoms yan, pero yung element, iisa pa rin, di ba? Okay. Basta iisa yung element mo sa isang chemical formula, we call that the elemental form. Ano daw yung oxidation number ng atom pag nasa elemental form? Ang sagot ay 0. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, if you have a formula wherein the element is in elemental state, ano yan? Ang kanyang oxidation number ay 0. For example, let's have P4, tetraphosphorus. So, this P4 is a single formula. Mag-isang formula lang yan, pero iisa lang din yung element dyan. So, ibig sabihin, we can say that this is elemental form. Okay? So, elemental form yan kasi this molecule is composed of the same atoms, no? The same element. So, since elemental form to, what is the oxidation number of P? Matic, 0 sagot doon. Okay? So, that is automatic, no? Kapag ang ating formula is composed of just the same atoms, okay, same elements lang yun nandun, the oxidation number is 0. Okay? And what if you have this? What if you have H2? What is the oxidation number of hydrogen? Ang sagot ay 0 then. Why? Because H2, this is elemental form. This is elemental form. Okay? Paano uli malalaman kung elemental form? If your formula only have one element, no? Okay. It doesn't matter gaano karami siya. Basta iisa lang yung element sa isang chemical formula, we call that elemental form. If you want to determine the oxidation number of the atom here, that's 0. Okay? O, yun lang yung sabi ng first rule, di ba? So, easy lang, no? Okay? So, if you have an elemental form, then the oxidation number of that element is 0. Okay? Second rule, for monoatomic ion, oxidation number is equal to the ion charge. Okay? So, that means if we have charges, whatever the charge is, yun na yung oxidation number niya. Okay? For example, Na+. What is the oxidation number of Na? Kung ano yung charge ng atom na yan, yun na yung kanyang oxidation number, positive 1. How about Cl-? What's the oxidation number of Cl? That's negative 1. Okay? So, for monoatomic ion, whatever the charge is, yun na yung oxidation number niya. Again, monoatomic. No? So, when you say monoatomic, our ion should be one atom only. Okay? So, yan. So, for monoatomic ion, the oxidation number is whatever the charge is. For example, let's have N3-. What's the oxidation number of nitrogen? Okay, comment kayo sa chat box natin para malaman kung gising tayo. Okay, so what's the oxidation number of nitrogen there? And also, how about this one? So the oxidation number of nitrogen is -3 for nitride ion. How about oxide ion? This is 2, but negative, no? You carry the negative sign. Ayan. Ayan. So, kunin mo yung negative sign. So, it is -2. Okay? So, yan. So, ganun lang, no? Parang ang dali lang, no? Sir, kahit po nasa other side. Yes po. Ang mapapansin nyo sa textbook, minsan nakaganyan siya, minsan nakaganito. May libro na ganito, may libro na ganyan. -2 o kaya 2 minus. That's the same lang, no? Actually, tinanong nga namin to dati sa prof namin nung first year college ako. Sabi namin, sir, ano ba talaga dapat? Ganito or ganito? Sabi niya, kahit ano lang. No? Kahit ano, okay lang. As long as you know that the charge is negative. Ayan. So, sabihin, either way, -2 pa rin yan. Okay? So, ganun. So, you can interchange the minus sign. But, the acceptable version is this one. Yung number, then yung charge after that. Okay? So, ganun. Although, pwede rin naman to, nakasanayan ko lang. Okay? So, yan. So, ganun lang. If you have a monoatomic ion, whatever the charge of that ion is, yun yung oxidation number niya. How about this one? How about this one? Oops. Alo, ba't nagsasara? Ayaw na niya mag-aral. Anyway. Yan. How about this one? You must ask yourself muna, no? Monoatomic ba yan? May charge yan, yes. But this is not monoatomic, no? It's diatomic kasi dalawa yung atom eh. Monoatomic, isang atom. Diatomic, dalawa atom. Okay. So this time, this is not a monoatomic ion. Ibig sabihin, hindi gagana yung rule natin dito. Okay? So, hindi gagana yung rule number 2 dito. So, ibig sabihin, hindi to positive 1 agad, ha? Okay? So, hindi gagana yung second rule natin kasi this is diatomic. How about this one? How about this one? NO3 minus. Will the second rule be followed or not? No? Hindi, no? Hindi rin. Kasi sabi natin, for rule number 2, it should be monoatomic only. At iisa lang yung atom. But, in our examples here, dalawa yung atom, no? Ito, dalawa atom to eh. This is diatomic ion. How about this? This is tetraatomic ion. 4 yung atoms eh. How about this? This is diatomic ion din, no? So, itong mga ions na to, hindi siya monoatomic ions. Okay? Ibig sabihin, the second rule will not be followed. Okay? So, if that's the case, paano natin malalaman yung oxidation number ng atoms? What is the oxidation number of this one? What's the oxidation number of this? This. Okay? So, if we have polyatomic ions, okay, or let's say a compound, for example, itong compound, I'll give you a compound. Okay. So, yan. For example, you have ions, polyatomic ions, or a chemical compound. Compound, ibig sabihin maraming atoms na. How will you determine the oxidation numbers? Okay. So, if that's the case, you will follow rule number 3. So, ano sabi dito? The sum of the oxidation number values for the atoms in a molecule or a formula unit of a compound equals 0. the sum of the oxidation number for the atoms in a polyatomic ion equals the charge of the ion. Meaning nun, ano sinabi niya dun? Ganito lang daw. So, ang sabi niya, if you have a molecular compound, for example, methanol, wala namang charge na naka-indicate doon, no? Walang number sa taas. Again, yung number sa top right, yun yung charge. Pero in this formula, wala naman nakalagay. Okay? Ibig sabihin, wala tong charge. Okay? So what is the sum of the oxidation number of the atoms here? Pag walang charge yan, ang sabi ay 0. Okay? So 0 daw yung sum ng oxidation numbers niyan. Ibig sabihin, pag pinagsama-sama ko yung oxidation number ng carbon, oxidation number ng hydrogen, oxidation number ng oxygen, pag pinag-add ko yan lahat, 0 yung sum dapat. Okay? But that raises another question. Yes, alam ko 0 yan lahat. No? Pag pinag-add mo yung oxidation numbers nila. Pero, the question is, ano yung oxidation number ni carbon? Ano oxidation number ni hydrogen? Ano oxidation number ni oxygen? O mas lalong dumami yung tanong natin, di ba? Okay. So, kapag ganun, we follow this rule sa baba. Okay? So, in determining the oxidation number of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, we follow this rule sa baba. Okay? For example, hydrogen. Okay, for hydrogen, basahin natin. Oxidation number of hydrogen is positive 1 if bonded with nonmetals and negative 1 if bonded with metals and boron. Okay. Ibig sabihin, pwede natin malaman yung oxidation number ni hydrogen. Okay? So, just look. Ano yung mga katabi ni hydrogen? Ang katabi ni hydrogen ay nonmetals, no? So, carbon is nonmetal, oxygen is nonmetal. Ibig sabihin yan, we follow this one. Sabi dyan, if it is bonded with nonmetals, then oxidation number of hydrogen is positive 1. Okay? Ayan. Nasagot na yung isang tanong natin. What's the oxidation number of hydrogen? Positive 1. Okay? Paano mo malalaman yun? Tignan mo lang yung atoms na katabi. If that's non-metal, positive 1 daw. If that is metal, negative 1. In our case, puro non-metal yung katabi ni hydrogen. So, positive 1 yung kanyang oxidation number. How about oxygen? How about oxygen? May rule for oxygen. Ito. Okay. So, may rule for oxygen. Oxidation number of oxygen is negative 1 in peroxide. Ano yung peroxide? That is if O2 2 minus siya. Okay. So, this is a peroxide ion. O2 2 minus. For example, agua oxinada, H2O2. Okay. So, yan. So, the oxidation number of oxygen, if that's a peroxide ion, is negative 1. Oxidation number of oxygen for all other compounds is negative 2. Okay, tignan natin. Si oxygen dito, ano ba to? Peroxide ba to? Hindi. This is not peroxide. Kasi ang requirement pag peroxide, O2, 2 minus. Ito, oxygen lang to. Isa lang to eh. So, ibig sabihin, we follow this rule na nasa baba. No? So, for oxygen, this is not a peroxide. So, ibig sabihin, the oxidation number niya is negative 2. Okay? So, yun. Ganun lang. Tignan mo lang, anong type ng atom meron ka? Hydrogen bonded with non-metal, so positive 1 siya. Oxygen, is that bonded with peroxide? No, hindi siya peroxide. Is it bonded with other compounds? Yes. So, ibig sabihin, negative 2 yun. Okay? How about carbon? Walang sinabi. Pag walang sinabi, ibig sabihin, nasa-solve mo siya. Okay? You will look for this carbon. Kasi wala siyang sinabi dito eh. Okay? Ang nandito lang is group 1, 2, hydrogen, fluorine, oxygen, group 7. Okay? So, if ganon, we're going to solve for X. No? We are solving for that. Kasi missing siya. By the way, when you add the oxidation numbers of the atoms, make sure that you multiply the number of atoms in a molecule. Okay? For example, how about carbon? Isa lang siya, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, oxidation number of carbon times 1. Okay? About hydrogen, apat yan. We have 3 and 1, so 4. So, that means you have to multiply the oxidation number by 4. Okay? Kung ilan yung atoms, ganun karami yung imumultiply mo sa oxidation numbers. Okay? How about oxygen? Isa lang yan. So, ibig sabihin times 1 yan. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pag pinag-add ko yan lahat-lahat, ang total answer should be 0. Okay? It should be 0. Okay, so do we know the oxidation number of hydrogen? Yes, no, alam natin. Sabi natin, positive 1 yan kanina. Do we know the oxidation number of oxygen? Yes, that is negative 2. Now, we can solve for this. Okay? Let me rewrite this in equation form. Okay? Rewrite ko lang siya in equation form para mas malinis. So, sabi ng rule number 3, oxidation number of carbon times 1, isa lang kasi carbon, plus oxidation number ni hydrogen times 4, apat kasi yung hydrogens dyan, plus oxidation number of oxygen times 1, isa lang kasi oxygen dyan. When you add that up, it should be equal to the charge, no? Which is 0. Wala kasi nakalagay doon sa top right corner. Pag wala nakalagay sa top right corner, ibig sabihin nun 0 yun kanyang charge. We know that hydrogen is positive 1. And we know that oxygen is negative 2. That means we can solve for the oxidation number of carbon. I will let that as X. And I will let it as X para mas madali mag-algebra. Maglet tayo ng X. Okay? Ayan. So, solving for X, simplify natin equation. So, X times 1 is X. Positive 1 times 4 is 4. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Okay, we can further simplify this. Positive 2. Okay, so plus 4 minus 2 is positive 2. Transpose that to other side, we will get X equals 2. And this is the oxidation number of the carbon. Okay, then by just doing algebra, we now know that the oxidation number of carbon is negative 2. For hydrogen, that is positive 1. And for oxygen, that's negative 2 as well. Okay? So, ano yung pinaka idea dito? Is that ganito. If you have a compound, no? If you have a compound, if you have a compound, pwede mo malaman yung oxidation number ng ibang atoms. However, if those atoms are not written here, ito sa baba, if their oxidation numbers are not stated here, then you will solve for them. Sila yung isa-solve mo. Okay? Isa-solve mo yung kanilang oxidation numbers. So, by just doing simple algebra, you can get their oxidation numbers. Yan. So, kaya nasabi natin that the oxidation number of carbon is negative 2. For hydrogen, that's positive 1 kasi nasa table. Negative 2 for oxygen kasi nasa table din. Okay? So, that is how we determine the oxidation numbers. Okay? So, let's have some more examples pa para masanay tayo. Okay? Kapag may di clear, mag-message lang kayo. Let's look at these chemical compounds. Okay. So, we have ionic compounds here, and then we also have covalent compounds. Okay? So, nasagutan ko na yung 10. Okay, nasagutan na natin yung 10 kanina. Let's answer other items na lang. Hindi ko sasagutan to lahat, ha? Okay. So I will answer only one. Upload ko na lang sa worksheet yung answer ng iba. Okay. So I will only answer one. Itong 4. Itong 7. Pati itong CO2. Okay. So I will leave the rest for you to practice. Okay. Upload ko yan sa worksheet, no? Yung answer sa lahat. Okay. Anyway, so let's determine the oxidation number of the elements in iron 3 nitrate, calcium hypochlorite, potassium dichromate, and carbon dioxide. No? Okay? So yung iba kayo na bahala dyan, ha? Okay. So let's have number 1. Okay. So we have an ionic compound here. No? This is ionic compound. Okay. So it will be easier for us to determine their oxidation numbers if we are going to turn them into ions. Okay? Gawin natin tong ions. How? Okay? Do you remember the reverse crisscross? Reverse crisscross means yung mga subscript, ibabalik natin sa respective owners. Yun yung reverse crisscross. Naalala na yon? So, saan ba galing yung 3 na to? This 3 came from iron. Okay? Ibig sabihin, 3 yan. How about the 1 here? Invisible siya pero may 1 dyan. Okay. How about the 1? This came from the anion, the nitrate. Okay? Okay. So, ibig sabihin, ito ay 3, ito ay 1. Okay? Since iron is metal, ibig sabihin, positive charge yan. That means yung kabila ay negative. Okay? So, we just did the reverse crisscross. So, we know that from iron 3 nitrate, the ions are Fe3+, and nitrate ions. Since we now have ions, mas madali na mag-solve for their oxidation numbers. Okay? Mas madali na mag-solve for their oxidation numbers. Ito, ginagawa to ginagawa to last semester. So, if nakalimutan, refresh ulit. Okay? Don't worry, i-refresh naman natin yun today. Okay? So, that is the reverse crisscross. You will just look, saan galing to? Dito. Saan galing yung number dito? Doon. Okay? So, kapag metal to, positive yon. Pag kapag anion, edi negative. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, we now have our ions. And since we now have ions, we can solve for the oxidation numbers. What is the oxidation number of iron? Madali lang. The oxidation number of iron is positive 3. Kasi sabi natin, for a monoatomic ion, the oxidation number is the charge itself. So, this is a monoatomic ion eh. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung charge niya, which is positive 3, yun na rin yung oxidation number niya. Okay? Let me rewrite this. Dito na lang. Para mas marami tayong space. So, the oxidation number for iron is positive 3 because we have monoatomic ion here. Ayan. How about the nitrogen and the oxygen? How about them? As you can see, we have a polyatomic ion here. Diba? This is a polyatomic ion. And according to rule number 3, the sum of the oxidation numbers of the polyatomic ions, no? Okay, pag pinag-add mo yung mga oxidation number ng atoms doon sa isang polyatomic ion, that's equal to the charge of the molecule. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, we will set up an equation. Okay? Mag-set up tayo ng equation that is equal to the charge of the ion. Okay? So, zoom in tayo dito para mas kita. Ayan. So according to rule number 3, the oxidation number of nitrogen plus the oxidation number of oxygen, but tatlo yung oxygen, remember, so times 3 yan. That's equal to the charge of the molecule. What's the charge of the molecule? May nakalagay sa top right corner na negative. So, ibig sabihin, negative 1 yan. Okay? O, now, mas lalong dumami yung tanong natin. O, ano to? Ano to? Ano yung gagawin mo? Tumingin sa table, no? Titingin tayo sa table. Kung may sinabi ba siya about this? May sinabi ba siya about this? Tignan natin. Tingin tayo. Okay? Ito yung sinasabi ko. Let's check if we have rules for nitrogen. Walang sinabi about nitrogen. So, ibig sabihin, maglelet tayo as X. Okay? Walang sinabi about nitrogen eh. How about oxygen? Meron. Yan. Pag peroxide, negative 1. Everything else, negative 2. Okay? Again, pag oxygen, pag peroxide, negative 1. Pag anything else, negative 2. Question is this oxygen here peroxide? No. That's actually not a peroxide. Okay? Ano ba itsura ng peroxide? Ganito. You have O double bond O. Then, parehas sila may negative charge. Okay? So, this is the peroxide ion. Ay, sorry. Sobra yung aking ano. Basta ganyan. You have O double bond O and each oxygen atom will bear a negative charge. And so the formal charge of this is negative 1, same as this one, negative 1. Okay, ang question dito is NO3 a peroxide? Let's draw the Lewis structure of NO3. Ang tsura ng Lewis structure niyan, ganito. Yan, ganyan yung itsura ng Lewis structure niyan. Do you see a oxygen double bond oxygen? May nakita ka bang O double bond O? Wala. Ibig sabihin, wala tayong peroxide. Okay, so ganun. Wala tayong peroxide kasi walang O double bond O. So, ibig sabihin, the oxygen charge here is negative 1 only. Negative 2. Kasi walang peroxide dito. Again, paano natin malalaman kung may peroxide? Look at the Lewis structure. If the oxygens are magkatabi, peroxide yon. But if they are not magkatabi, hindi yung peroxide, no? For example, ito, oxygen. Ang kabonding niya ay nitrogen. Same as this. Okay, so ibig sabihin, hindi sila peroxides kasi ang kabonding nila ay si nitrogen. Okay? So, ayan. So, that means they are not peroxides. Ibig sabihin, their oxidation number is negative 2 according to the table. Okay? So, we just knew that oxygen is negative 2. So, we can now solve for the oxidation number of nitrogen. Algebra lang to. Oxidation number of nitrogen, 2 times 3, 6. So, negative 6 equals negative 1. Transpose to the other side, the oxidation number of nitrogen is negative 1 plus 6 or 5. Ayun, na-solve na natin. So, the oxidation number of oxygen is negative 2. The oxidation number of nitrogen is equal to positive 5. Ayun, ganun lang. Okay, so ibig sabihin, in order to answer problems like this, you should know the Lewis structure. Okay, so kailangan medyo may idea kayo about the Lewis structure. Okay? So, yan lang. Let's proceed with the next one. Okay, so let's proceed with the next one, calcium hypochlorite. Okay? Calcium hypochlorite. So that is similar with what we did in number 1. No? Medyo similar yung process na gagawin natin. Because this is an ionic compound, we will do reverse crisscross. We will do reverse crisscross. No? Saan galing to? And saan galing yung number 1 dyan? Okay. Yung 2, galing yan kay calcium. So that means calcium has a charge of 2. Since metal yan, positive 2. How about the hypochlorite ion? ClO ion. O yung 1 dito sa subscript ni calcium, kay ClO yon. Okay. So since positive na yung calcium, dapat ito negative 1. So that means our ions here is calcium 2 plus and ClO minus. Let's apply the rules. No? Let's apply the rules. Calcium. What's the oxidation number of calcium? So looking at calcium, that is a monoatomic ion. So whatever the charge is, yun na yung kanyang. Sir, di na applicable dyan yung... Applicable pa rin naman. However, ganito kasi mangyayari. Kapag ginawa mo to yung oxidation number ni calcium, oxidation ni chloride, ito, pag inequal mo sila lahat, equal to 0, medyo mahihirapan ka, no? Kasi ang dami ng missing variables. Ano yung mga missing? Yung mga wala sa table. Ang meron lang sa table, oxygen eh. So wala kang chlorine, wala kang calcium. Ibig sabihin, mahirapan ka talaga mag-solve. Okay? Mahirapan ka mag-solve for them. Okay? So yung chlorine, ito nasa table to actually. Pero what if ibang atom yung nandyan? What if hindi chlorine? What if nitrogen? Di ba kanina nitrogen wala sa table? Yung calcium wala din sa table. So yan, kaya ang pinapagawa ko sa inyo is i-separate nyo sila into ions so that mas madali makita yung kanilang individual charges. Okay? So ganun. If applicable pa rin yung equal to lahat sa 0. But if ang case ay dalawang atoms na yung nawawala, okay, for example, calcium to, tas ito, nitrogen, kunwari, dalawang atoms na yung missing, hindi mo masasolve yun. Okay? Hindi mo masasolve siya agad-agad. Ayan. Kaya I want you to split the molecule into ions. So always split the ionic compound into ions so that the equations will be simpler. Okay? So yun. Pwede pa rin naman, no? But it will be tricky with some questions. Okay. So yun. For calcium, this is a monoatomic ion. Ibig sabihin, the oxidation number is automatically positive 2. Ayan. Okay. Ayun lang yung case ha. Ba't hindi ko ginagawa to equal to 0? Yes, same pa rin naman. But, yun nga, ang problem kasi is mamaya, dalawa na yung missing. Worse is kapag tatlo yung nawawala, hindi mo na alam kung paano mo siya isa-solve. No? Kaya gusto ko split nyo siya always. No? Split lang. Ayan. Ionic compound naman siya. So, pwede siya i-split. Na. Ayun. So, for calcium, that's 2 plus. Okay. For chlorine and oxygen, so, for chlorine and oxygen, this is polyatomic ion. Okay. So, sabi natin kanina, the sum of the oxidation numbers of a polyatomic ion is equal to the charge. No? So, in equation, that can be written as the oxidation number of Cl plus oxidation number of oxygen, that's equal to the charge, which is negative 1. Okay. O, tingin tayo. Yung Cl ba at yung oxygen ay nasa table? Tignan natin. Oxygen. Hindi naman yung peroxide eh. O and Cl yung magkatabi. No? Tapos tig-isa lang sila. So, ibig sabihin, the oxidation number of oxygen is negative 2 for our case. Okay, so negative 2 siya. So, for Cl naman, that's -1. Okay? Ay, may sinabi dito, except O. Okay? So, may nasinabi doon, except O. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya automatically -1. Okay? So, since may exception tayo, ibig sabihin, wala, isosolve natin yung sa Cl. Okay? Yan. Kasi sabi dito yung oxygen, basta any other compound, -2. But for group 7, which is si Cl kasama, nakalagay doon except O. Ibig sabihin, siya yung missing. Okay? Siya yung missing. Okay. Akala ko okay na eh. So, according to the table, yung oxygen, ano na siya, -2 na siya. Okay? Pero yung Cl, sabi doon, except oxygen. So, ibig sabihin, kapag ang kabonding niya ay oxygen, X yon, let mo yon as X, no? Kasi hindi specified kung ano yung exact charge niya. Okay? So again, -2 kay oxygen kasi nasa table. Any other compounds, -2 siya. Pag peroxide, -1. Hindi naman to peroxide kasi oxygen and Cl magkatabi. Okay? So yan. So, -2 to. Pero yung Cl, sabi doon, kapag ang kabonding ay oxygen, exception yon. No? Ibig sabihin nun, you solve for that. Okay? So yan, you solve for the Cl. So that will be x minus 2 equals -1. X is equals to -1 plus 2. So meaning x is +1. Diba? So kaya siya exception kasi hindi siya -1. +1 yung Cl dito. Okay, again, kapag sinabi, especially for group 7, pag si group 7 may katabi siyang oxygen, si oxygen ay -2. Yung yung group 7 atom, yung halides natin, mga fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, sila yung X, no? Hindi mo alam kung ano value nila. Okay? So, ayan. So, we just found out that yung CLI +1. Okay? So, ganun lang. Again, be careful sa mga except, no? So, pag sinabing except, wag mo susundin yung table. Hahanapin mo yan. Okay? So that's our answer for number 4. The oxidation number of calcium is 2. Cl is 1. Oxygen is -2. Pag sinabing except, edi solve na. Edi don't na. Edi wag sundin yung table. Edi don't tayo. Okay. So yan lang. Let's have number 7. Let's have number 7. We have K2Cr2O7, which is potassium dichromate. Ito ay kulay orange. And this is toxic. This can cause cancer. Pero cute yan. Kulay orange siya. Para siyang tang. Parang yung kulay ng tang. Yan. Ganun na ganun yung kulay niya. Kaya pag di mo talaga alam yung mga chemicals, pwede ka madali. Okay. So this is a very bright orange powder kasi. Okay, so for potassium dichromate, let's find their oxidation numbers. Okay. So we have ionic compound here. K is metal. So that means yung katabi niya non-metal. Ay sabihin ionic compound to. Matik 'yan, ha. Pag may metal ka makita diyan, ano 'yan? Ionic compound 'yan. Okay? So 'yan. So if you are familiar enough with your anions, you will know that Cr2O7 is an ion. Okay, this is dichromate anion. Ibig sabihin, ang cation natin ay K and ang anion natin ay Cr2O7. Don't worry, nasa listahan naman yan ng ions. If you could still remember that, If you could still remember the lesson sa Gen Chem last sem, yan. Pwede nyo hanapin yung ions, table ng ions. No? Ayan. So Cr2O7 is dichromate ion. Okay, so this is an Rn ion, this is the cation ion. O ngayon, saan galing yung ito? Saan galing ion? Pag wala nakalagay sa labas is 1 yan. Okay. Hindi 7 ha. Hindi 7. Lagyan mo parenthesis. Ito, sabi ko to sa students ko before, no? If you have a polyatomic anion, maglagay kang parenthesis around it. Ayan. 2 and 1. Saan galing yung 2? Dito. Saan galing yung 1? Kay K. Since potassium is metal, positive 1 yan. Ibig sabihin, yung kabila, negative. Okay? So we just did the reverse crisscross. So our ions is K plus and Cr2O7 negative 2. Okay? So ganun lang. Again, hindi yung 7 yung ililipat mo sa kabila. This is polyatomic ion eh. So sabi ko sa students ko before, I think may students ako dito ngayon, no? Na students ko rin before. If you have a polyatomic ion, lagyan mo siya ng parenthesis, no? Whatever the number is outside the parenthesis, yun yung i-criss-cross mo, not the numbers inside. Okay? Ayan. Ayan, so we have K plus and Cr2O7. So what's the oxidation number of K? Oxidation number of Cr and the oxidation number of oxygen. K is a monoatomic ion, so that's positive 1. Easy. How about Cr and O? Okay, how about Cr and O? Okay, so mapapansin mo, oxygen, is this in peroxide form? Is that in peroxide form? Okay, to know if that is in peroxide form, you check the structure. Again, pag sinabing peroxide, you have this molecule. Okay? You have an oxygen bonded with the O and para sila may charge. Okay? Pero anything else is chromium. I mean, anything else is not peroxide. No? Okay? Na-bother ako, may announcement sa canvas namin. Yeah. Pare-pares lang tayo estudyante dito. Okay. So this is, let's check kung ito ay peroxide. Okay, by looking at the Lewis structure. So the Lewis structure of that one, you can Google this naman. Okay. Is ganito. Ginugol ko na rin kasi kaysa magnasurul pa ako dito. Pahirapan ko pa sarili ko. Google mo na lang. Anakem naman to eh. Ayan. So this is the structure of dichromate ion. So do you see any O double bond O? Wala, no? Meron tayo OCR, 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 OCR. So basically, wala tayong O double bond O. So ibig sabihin, wala tayong peroxide here. Okay? So we don't have any peroxides here. Ibig sabihin, the oxidation number of oxygen is automatically -2 according to the table. Okay? So that's -2 according to the table. Ayan. So, hanapin na lang natin yung Cr. Hanapin natin yung chromium. Let me erase this para may space. Ang chromium, sabi dun sa rule number 3, the sum of the oxidation numbers in a compound is equal to the charge. No? In our case, that's dalawang chromium plus 7 na oxygen. Equal yan sa charge na -2. We just know that oxygen is -2. Bakit? Kasi ito ay hindi peroxide. Wala tayong peroxide bond dito. Okay? So we are just looking for the chromium. I will let this as X, no? Let this as X para mas madali. So we have 2x plus 7 minus times negative 2. Negative 14 pala. Okay, so this should be negative 14. Ayan. Minus 14 equals negative 2. Lipat sa other side. 2x equals negative 2 plus 14. Negative 2, 14. Negative 12 yan. I mean positive 12. So x is equal to 6. And that is the oxidation number of chromium plus 6. No? Ganun lang. No? Algebra. You can actually use ship solve. No? Ship solve na lang. Ganun ginagawa ko eh. Kaya mental. Kaya naman i-mental na titigan mo lang siya. Huwag ka lang tumingin sa sagot ng classmate mo. Ito yung titigan mo. Ayan. Malalaman mo yung ito. 14, 2, lipat mo doon, 12, divide to 6. Ayan. So, ayan. That's how we answer number 7. So, again, if you have ionic compound, it will be better if you split them into ions. Okay? So, it will be better if you split them into ions. Although, rule number 3 can be used, no? However, what if dalawa yung unknown mo? What if tatlo yung unknown mo? Okay? So, ganun, yun yung problema. Kapag sobrang dami ng unknown, hindi mo na masosolve yung equation. So, it will be better if you split them. Split mo muna. Okay? Para makita mo, ito positive 1 pala to. Ayan. And then for the others, you just na lang, solve for them. Okay? About CO2. Okay? Delete ko na ha. Last one, we have CO2. Parang ang basic lang ng topic ngayon, no? Basic discussion. Later on, babalik tayo sa equilibrium. Don't worry. Babalik tayo ulit sa equilibrium. CO2. Is this ionic compound? Baka mamaya i-criss-cross mo yan, ha? Baka mamaya sabi mo, ay sir, ganyan yan. Hindi. Hindi yan ganyan. Okay? Hindi yan ionic compound. So, you don't use the reverse criss-cross, no? Paano mo uli malalaman if that's ionic compound? You have a metal, non-metal. This is both non-metal. Ito may question. Sir, hindi po ba kunin yung total? Per element yung kukunin natin. Kasi kapag pinagsama-sama mo yung oxidation number ng elements, charge yun ng compound. Okay. So, ang target natin dito is the oxidation number of elements. Okay. Kasi pag pinagsama-sama mo nga yung oxidation number ng elements, charge yon ng compound. Magiging charge yun ng compound. Ayan. Okay, so yan. So we have CO2. So this is hindi siya ionic compound kasi wala tayong metal. So this is ang tawag dun. So this is covalent compounds, no? Okay. So wala kang gagawing criss-cross diyan, no? Okay. So ibig sabihin, you just write this na lang, direkta na. Okay. So the sum of the oxidation numbers of carbon and oxygen is equal to the charge of the compound, which is 0. Wala kasi nakalagay dito sa top right corner. Walang nakalagay doon. And again, sabi ko nga, pag walang nakalagay doon, 0 yon. Direkta na tayo dito ha. Kasi, wala namang tayong may split na, no? We can't split this anymore. Kaya, diretso na doon. Okay? Let me rewrite that. Oxidation number ni carbon plus 2 times the oxidation number of oxygen. Question. Of the two compounds, sino yung nasa table? Tingin tayo. Oxygen. Okay, so si oxygen yung nasa table. Okay, so si oxygen nasa table. The question is this peroxide or other compound? Let's check the Lewis structure. The Lewis structure for this one is ito. May nakikita ba kayong O double bond O na may charges? Wala. Ang meron lang ay O pati C, O pati C. Ibig sabihin, hindi yan peroxide. So, if not peroxide, the oxidation number of oxygen is automatically -2. Matic yun. Okay? So, yan. Yung Lewis structure, kahit i-google nyo, okay lang yun. Tapos na tayo sa Gen Chem eh. Okay? Kaya, ano. Yan. So, 2 times -2 is 4. Lipat mo yun sa kabila. The oxidation number of carbon is +4. Okay? So, that means this is -2. This is +4. Okay, ganun lang. Siguro yung 9, sagutan ko na rin. Then, Google na lang kayo ng other examples. No? Although, magbibigay pa ako ng worksheet. No? Pakita ko din yung solution dito. Plus other questions. No? Okay. So, H2CO. How about H2CO? Ano to? This is formaldehyde. No? This ito yung ginagamit sa pang-embalsa mo. Okay, formaldehyde. Okay. So, its Lewis structure is this. No? Yan. Anyway. So, yeah. So, we have formaldehyde. This is not ionic. Okay. So, this is covalent compound. Wala tayong metals eh. Ibig sabihin, we can just simply write that the oxidation number of hydrogen times 2 plus the oxidation number of carbon plus the oxidation number of oxygen is equal to 0. Bakit uli 0? Wala kasi nakalagay dun. Okay. Pag wala nakalagay sa top right corner, ibig sabihin the charge is 0. Now, tatlo yung ating variables. We have the oxidation number for hydrogen, carbon, oxygen. Of those stuff, let's look kung sino yung mga nasa table. Tignan natin. Hydrogen. +1 if non-metal ang kasama. -1 kapag metal kasama. Tanong, may metal ba dyan? Wala. Okay. Ibig sabihin, hydrogen is +1. Okay? So, +1 na yan kasi wala siyang metal na kasama. Sunod, ano pa yung mga nasa table? Oxygen. Wala tayong peroxide, no? Wala tayong peroxide. Kasi wala naman tayong O double bond O. So that means, ano tayo? -2. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung carbon, yung missing. Okay? So, to solve for carbon, that is just simply 2 plus ONC minus 2. You can combine the numbers. What's 2 minus 2? 0. Oxidation number of carbon is 0. Pwede ba yun, sir? Pwede. Pwede yan. Pwede yan, okay? So, the oxidation number could be positive, could be negative, could be 0. Okay? Lahat yun, katanggap-tanggap, okay? So, yun. So, mapapansin nyo yung carbon, iba-iba yung charge niya, oxidation number niya, no? Kanina, -2, tapos kanina, may example na +4 siya, tapos ngayon, 0 siya, okay? So, that's why wala siya sa table, kasi iba-iba yung kanyang oxidation number. Okay? So, ganyan. So, you may ask yourself, no, ba't tayo napunta dito? ano relationship na to sa i-discuss natin? Okay. Because if we know the oxidation numbers, you can determine if the reaction is a redox reaction. Okay? Tapos na tayo dito ha. If you have questions, you may ask na. Pero if wala, I will proceed na. Yun na yun eh. Okay. Ganun na yan. So, for now, with those 5 examples, actually 7 examples, no? Gets na sana natin to. But if not, no, you don't hesitate to ask, no? Don't hesitate to ask. Okay. So, I think walang question na, no? So, you may ask yourself nga, saan mo to gagamitin? We will use this to determine if the reaction is redox, no? So, let's define redox muna. Okay. When you say redox, that is oxidation reduction. Redox, no? Reduction, oxidation. No? Pwede pagbali-balik na rin yan. Redox, no? Okay? When you say redox reaction, this is reduction oxidation reactions. And these are reactions where electrons are transferred from one species to another. So, ibig sabihin, electrons ang pinapasa dito. Compare that with the acid-base. Acid-base, ano yung pinapasa? Hydrogen, di ba? Ayun. Pag combustion, iba yon. Sinusunog mo yung matter mo with oxygen to produce CO2 and H2O. But redox reaction, these are reactions which involves the transferring of electrons from one compound to another compound. No? And in redox reaction, two separate reactions occur simultaneously. Okay, so ibig sabihin, you have an oxidation reaction and you have a reduction reaction. So this is two reactions happening at once. So, hindi pwedeng reduction lang meron ka. Dapat may kasamang oxidation yan. Tandem kasi yan eh. Okay. So what is reduction reaction? When you say reduction reaction, the electrons are gained by the species. Electrons are gained by the species if that's a reduction reaction. Pag oxidation reaction naman, the electron is given off by the species. Naglalabas siya ng electron. Okay, so yan. The mnemonic for this one is oil rig. Oxidation is losing electron. Okay, oxidation is losing electron. OIL. And reduction is gaining electron. RIG. Oil rig, no? Oil rig. Oxidation is losing electron or giving off electrons. Reduction is gaining electrons. Okay. So, yan yung mnemonic. Okay. So, para hindi nyo nakabisaduhin to, sabihin mo na lang oil rig. Oxidation is losing, reduction is gaining. Ano yung nilulose at ginigain? Electrons. Okay. So, question doon is, ano mangyayari? Ano mangyayari kapag nag-lose siya or nag-gain ng electrons? Okay. So, let's think of this, no? Suppose we have a compound. Okay. Let's say it accepted 2 electrons. What will happen? Mawawala yung charge niya. Okay? So, let's look at this example. If it accepted 2 electrons, if it gained 2 electrons, ang charge niya from positive 2 maging 0 na. Okay? So the charge is from positive 2. The oxidation number is from positive 2 to 0. So ano ibig sabihin yan? Pag reduction, the oxidation number decreases. Okay? So makikita mo yun sa isang chemical reaction. If the oxidation number of that specific element decreased, no? Makikita mo yun. Pag nakita mo sa reaction, the oxidation number of that element decreased, ibig sabihin, reduction yun. Okay? Reduction reaction yan. Okay? So, yan yung implication. Pag reduction, ang oxidation number ay bumababa after the reaction. How about, may examples pa naman tayo later, don't worry. How about this one? How about this one? O, mamaya, kwento ko kung paano ginagawa to, ha? Didiscuss ko yan, don't worry. How about this one? So what's the oxidation number of hydrogen? This is elemental state. Okay? So when you say elemental state, isa lang yung formula, walang charge, then iisa lang yung elements. Ay, isa lang yung element natin. So this is 0. On the product side, ang HI may charge na. This is a monoatomic ion. Don't mind the 2 kasi yan ay coefficient na. So H plus. So this is a this is a monoatomic ion. So the oxidation number is from 0 naging positive 1. So ibig sabihin nun, naglabas siya ng electron. Nag-release siya ng electron during the process. And when it loses electron, it is oxidation. Okay? In oxidation, the oxidation number increases. Okay? Take note of that. Pag reduce, baba. Pag oxy, taas. Okay? Isipin mo na lang, reduce. Ano, 'di ba pag nagre-reduce, bumababa. Ayun. Mas madali na mga kabisado 'yan. Pag bumababa yung oxidation number, edi reduction 'yan. Pag tumataas, edi oxidation. Okay? So, ayan. Oil rig, oxidation number decrease, oxidation number increase. O yung Leora Geroa, mamaya na yan. Later ko yan i-discuss. Okay? So this is one example of the redox reaction. We have zinc reacting with hydrogen. I mean hydronium ion to produce zinc 2 plus and hydrogen gas. Okay? So this is one example. As you can see, yung zinc, ang oxidation number niya ay 0. On the product side, this is a monoatomic ion, so 2. So from 0 to 2, that is increase in oxidation number. That means oxidation yan. Okay. Tumaas yung kanyang oxidation number. So, ibig sabihin, oxidation reaction yan. But for hydrogen atom, so that is from positive 1 naging 0, bumaba yung kanyang oxidation number. So that means this is reduction reaction. Okay? So ganun. So zinc lost the electrons, oxidation. Hydronium ion accepted the electron, so it is reduced to H2 na lang. So ganun, you will keep track of the oxidation numbers. No? Pag tumaas yung oxidation number, oxidation reaction yon. Pag bumaba yung oxidation number, reduction reaction yon. Okay? So let's look at some more examples here. Don't mind the balanced equation. Let's identify the individual oxidation numbers. Okay. Identify natin yung kanilang oxidation numbers. Aluminum, 0 yan. Elemental state yan. Again, kapag elemental state, iisa lang element, walang charge. Yan, elemental state. So, 0 yan. Same as hydrogen, 0 yan. This is also elemental state. How about this? Ang dami. How about them? How about them? Okay, how about them? You can use the rules I gave earlier. Pero ito, mabilisan ko na lang gagawin, ha? So, I will leave this to you for practice. Okay? Pero ako, magme-mental ako to identify their oxidation numbers. But again, I will leave you the liberty to determine paano ko nalaman na ganito yung kanilang numbers. Okay? So, kayo na bahala mag-determine yan. You apply the rules I said earlier. No? And you can do crisscross, so on and so forth. Okay? So, ganito. The oxidation number of aluminum is 3, positive 3. Oxidation number of oxygen is negative 2. And then, for sulfur, kailangan ko ng calcu. Minimental ko na lang yung process, ha. Pero syempre, kailangan ko pa rin ng calcu. So, I will leave this to you, no, to practice. Paano ko nakuha yung ganong numbers? Okay? So, that will be 4 times negative 2 plus x. Okay, so sulfur is positive 6. Yeah, yeah, positive 6. Okay. So again, paano ko nakuha yan? Practice nyo na lang. Okay. Okay, how about this one? Hydrogen is positive 1, oxygen is negative 2, sulfur is positive 6 pa rin. Again, I will leave that to you to solve. No? Leave ko yan sa inyo kung paano ko nakuha yung oxidation number ng elements. Okay. Pero yan yung kanilang oxidation numbers. No? Nilista ko na. Kunin nyo na lang kung paano ko nakuha yan. I just applied the rules stated earlier. So, tignan natin yung mga elements na nagbabago yung oxidation number. Yung sulfur, hindi nagbabago. 6 siya dito, 6 pa rin sa kabila. So, wag kalimutan na natin siya. Same as with oxygen. Yung oxygen, negative to doon, negative to doon. Wala nagbabago. So, sino yung mga nagbabago? Ang oxidation number. Yung aluminum, pati yung hydrogen. Okay? So, let's focus on them. Yung aluminum, from 0, naging positive 3. Okay? From 0, naging positive 3 siya. Yung hydrogen, from positive 1, naging 0. Question, sino yung reduction reaction? The orange or yung green? Reduction reaction. Is it the orange or the green? Okay. Sino doon? Reduction. Comment yung answer nyo. Green. Bakit green? Kasi bumaba yung number eh. From positive 1 naging 0. Siyempre, mas mababa 0, di ba? Okay. So, from positive 1 naging 0. So, that is lowering of the number. So, yeah, you are correct. Green is reduction reaction. And aluminum, the orange one, is oxidation. Okay? Kasi tumaas yung number niya from 0 naging positive 3. So, increase in the increase in oxidation number. So, all in all, aluminum is oxidized, no? Oxidation. It underwent oxidation reaction, and this underwent reduction reaction. Okay? Yung buong compound yung nag-undergo ng reduction. Okay, so ganun lang. So this one underwent oxidation, this one underwent reduction. Specifically hydrogen. Okay. Specifically hydrogen. Okay. This is single displacement, 'di ba? Single replacement reaction. How about itong nasa baba? Itong nasa baba ay acid-base reaction. Okay. So let's try this. We have H2SO4, 2 NaO, Na2SO4, and H2O. Ay, napindot. Ayan. So we have this. Let's identify the oxidation number of the elements. Again, I will leave this to you for practice, pero ibibigay ko na yung sagot. Okay, so let me give you the answer. Hydrogen is positive 1. Okay, so positive 1 siya all throughout. Positive 1. Same as this one. Same as this one. Oxygen, negative 2. Negative 2. Negative 2. Negative 2. Sulfur, this is positive 6. This is also positive 6. And sodium is positive 1. And this is also positive 1. Okay. So these are the oxidation numbers. As you can see, hydrogen, 1. 1 siya all throughout. Okay. So let me highlight that. Okay. Paano ko nakuha yan? Oh, kayo na bahala. Pero dinerive ko na yan. So hydrogen is always positive 1. Si sulfur, ganun din. Positive 6. Positive 6 siya all throughout. Oxygen, negative 2. Okay. So sodium, positive 1 din siya doon. And oxygen is negative 2. Okay. Question. Is this a redox reaction? This is not a redox reaction. Okay? Not a redox reaction. Why? Bakit hindi siya redox reaction? Kasi yung ating oxidation numbers hindi nagbago. Okay? Okay? Did not change. No? Ha? Hindi nagbago yung mga oxidation number natin eh. Ibig sabihin, hindi to redox reaction. So, naiisip nyo na ba yung ilalagay ko sa quiz? Ganito. Ganito yung ilalagay ko sa quiz. So, I will give you a set of equation. Identify sino yung redox doon. Ganun gagawin nyo. Okay? Hanari, ayan. You have the two. You have this one and this one. Identify which is the redox reaction. Basically, all you have to do is to identify the oxidation numbers of each element. Dito nagbago eh. So this is redox reaction. But for this one, walang nagbago. Lahat sila pare-parehas pa rin. So this is not a redox reaction because the oxidation numbers did not change. No? So wala tayong reduction reaction yan. Wala rin tayong oxidation reaction. So yan. Ito yung lalabas sa quiz nyo. You will be given set of equation. Identify sino yung redox reaction. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, do you really have to do all of this to identify kung sino lang yung redox reaction? Kahit hindi na. Kahit di nyo na gawin. Bakit? At ganito lang yung technique dito. Ay, wait lang guys. May doorbell. Wait lang po mag-attend lang ako ng doorbell. Ako lang kasi tao sa bahay. Ayan. Shopee pala. Sorry. Anyway. So, yan. Nag-Shopee pa ako nung nakaraan. Anyway. So, mag-alcohol lang ko. Anyway. So, yun nga. So, I may give you those questions, no? You will be given set of equations. Alamin nyo kung sino redox reaction. Do you really have to identify all the oxidation numbers? Kahit hindi na. Gawin nyo, isa lang element tignan nyo. Okay. Okay. So, isang element lang titignan nyo. For example, or yan, nawala na ulit. Kunwari, ito, aluminum. Dito, 0 yan. Pagdating dito, ionic compound siya. Ibig sabihin, redox to. Kasi from no charge, naging charge. So, ganun. So, hindi necessary na lahat alamin mo, ha? Wag niyo gawin 'yon. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, kapag nagte-test dapat may alam kayong mga techniques, no? So gano'n. Yun yung technique, no? Hindi mo naman kailangan alamin lahat, eh. Okay. Hindi mo alam hindi kailangan isa-isahin 'yan, okay? So ibig sabihin, kuha ka lang isang element. Ito aluminum, 0 'yan. Dito, positive 3 'yan. So ibig sabihin ito ay oxidation. So that means ito ay reduction agad. Okay? So yan, so redox yan. Pag ganito naman, pag ganito, no choice ka, titignan mo lahat ng kanilang oxidation numbers. Okay? Pero kung sino yung obvious, yun yung redox agad. Okay? So pag nag-quiz kayo, wag niyo isa-isahin yan, Basta kuha lang kayo isang representative. Pero pag feel nyo ang daming kailangan i-solve, wag nyo muna i-consider yan. Sabihin mo na lang, dito siguro redox. Saka mo na lang ulit tignan pag sure ka, bago ka mag-submit. Okay, so ganun lang. How about this one? Redox ba tong mga to? And I want you to identify sino ang oxidation, sino ang reduction. Ayan. So I want you to identify which is the oxidation, which is the reduction. Ay, sa labas apple pencil. Wait lang ha. Naiwan sa labas yung pencil ko. Ayan. So I want you to identify sino ang oxidation, sino ang reduction. Okay? So do this first. Gusto ko malaman sino yung oxidized, sino yung reduced, no? Ayan. And same thing as this one. So I'll give you a few minutes, no? Few minutes lang. Okay? Kasi yung iba, onti lang sasagutan. Ito lang sagutan. Yung iba, ito na lang. Okay? So, yan. And comment nyo sa box kung ano yung sagot nyo. Sa 1 ba ay, AG ba yung oxidized? AL ba yung reduced? Dito ba, ang MN ba ang reduced? Ito ba ang oxidized? Let us know. Okay. Comment nyo na lang sa box kung ano sagot, ha? Number 1, ang oxidized ay comment nyo sa box natin. Aluminum oxidized, silver reduction. Tignan natin. Okay? So, silver, on the left side, that is, ayun. Okay, so on the left side, it is positive 1. Pero on the right side, it is 0. Aluminum is 0, naging positive 3. So, umakyat ang oxidation number, oxidation. Bumaba ang oxidation number, reduction. So, yeah, correct. No? So, silver is reduction, aluminum is oxidation. How about the other one? So, yan, correct yan. Okay, so, thank you, Joanna. How about number 2? Which of them is oxidation? Which is reduction? Ito, it needs, kailangan mo talaga mag-solve ng kanilang oxidation numbers. Isa-isahin mo sila. Itong MN, automatic, positive 2 yan. Tapos itong CL, automatic, negative 1 yan. Eto, bahala kayo maghanap. Bahala kayo dyan. Okay? So, yan. I'll give you a few minutes na. Comment nyo na lang sa box kung ano yung sagot. Kung sino yung reduction, sino yung oxidation. Do you have any answers? Siguro you are still on the process of solving for the individual oxidation numbers. No? Let me kickstart the process. Okay? Ang oxygen dito, negative 2. Okay? This is negative 2, negative 2. Hydrogen is positive 1. So, you are now just going to look for the Mn. Mn na lang. Okay? So, for manganese, negative 1, negative 8. So, this is positive 7. Mental na lang. So, do you arrive with the same answer? So, manganese should be positive 7. Okay, paano yun nangyari, sir? Oxidation number manganese for oxidation number ni oxygen equals negative 1. Okay, so oxidation number manganese equals 4 times negative 2 equals negative 1. So 8 yan, negative 8. Lipat mo sa kabila, magiging positive 8 minus 1, 7. Ayun. For this one naman, you have the Cl. Okay. Cl here is so that's negative 1 equals Cl plus negative 2. So Cl is equals to positive 1. Yeah. Hypochlorite to eh. Okay. So, this is the answer. No? Ito yung answers natin sa oxidation numbers. No? So, I will leave this to you as practice, but these are the correct answer for the oxidation numbers. Mn is 7, positive 7. Oxygen is negative 2. Cl is negative 1. Mn is positive 2. H is 1. Cl is positive 1. Oxygen is negative 2. Okay? So, as you can see, yung ating Cl, from negative 1, it became positive 1. Kaya nga green yung nilagay ko kasi oxidation din yan. Okay. So, the oxidation number increased, no? Okay, so, from negative 1 naging positive 1. Kaya green na rin sinulat ko, no? Ayan. So, yung kaya yan mentally. Okay? For Mn, ayun. So, from positive 7, naging positive 2 siya. This is reduction. Okay? So, ayan. So, in summary, let me erase this. Erase ko muna lahat na nakalagay. Pwede naman siya screenshot kapag naka-video na to. Okay? So, this one is reduction. Yung mga orange, reduction yon. And yung green ay yung oxidation. Okay? So, discuss ko naman yung Leora-Geroa. What is Leora-Geroa yung in-skip ko kanina? Okay. So, Leora-Geroa is an extension of oil rig. Yung oil rig, diba, oxidation is losing, reduction is gaining electrons. So, Leora-Geroa naman, ganun pa rin naman. Losing electron, oxidation. Okay. Let me write it here. Dito na lang tayo sa baba. Mag-zoom in ako. So, Leora-Geroa. Meaning yan, losing electron, oxidation. Parang binaliktad lang na oil. Okay? O dito naman, gaining electron reduction. L-E-O-G-E-R. Ayun. Ano yung RA pati OA? No? When you say RA, that's reducing agent. Yung OA, ibig sabihin ng oxidizing agent. Baliktad, no? Yes, ganun talaga. Okay? So, sabi ng Leora-Geroa, if your species undergoes oxidation process, it is also called the reducing agent. Kapag siya ay na-oxidize, ang tawag sa kanya ay reducing agent. Pag siya naman yung na-reduce, ang tawag sa kanya ay oxidizing agent. You may ask yourself, no, ba't baliktad? Okay, ba't baliktad? Imagine it as ganito lang. Agent siya for reduction. So, siya yung tutulong sa kabilang reaction para mag-reduce. No? Parang sales agent yan, no? So, ikaw yung magbebenta. So, ibig sabihin, ang tawag sa'yo, sales agent. Ganon din dito. Okay. Ikaw yung mamimigay ng electron sa kabila. No? So, ibig sabihin, ikaw yung magre-reduce ng kabila. Kaya tawag doon, reducing agent. Ayun lang yung logic doon. Kunwari, ako, magbibigay ako ng let's say, sabihin natin, financial advisor. Although di ako financial advisor. Ako yung agent, no? Kunwari, ikaw yung client ko. Ako yung magbibigay ng insurance policy sa iyo. So, ako yung agent, no? Ako yung ahente, ikaw yung client. So, ganun din dito. Kung ako yung magbibigay ng electron sa iyo, tawag sa akin, reducing agent. Kasi ako tutulungan kita ma-reduce eh. Same thing as this one. So, siya yung tumatanggap ng electron. So, sabihin, siya yung oxidizing agent, no? Siya yung tatanggap ng ibibigay na electron ng kabila. Okay? Parang ito yung seller, ito yung buyer, 'di ba? Ayun lang yung idea diyan. The oxidize, yung mag-oxidize, yun yung reducing agent. Siya yung mamimigay ng electron para ma-reduce yung iba. Siya yung ahente. Siya yung nagtitinda ng electrons. Okay? Pag reduction naman, tawag sa kanya ay oxidizing agent. Sila yung kumukuha ng electrons. Okay? So, yun lang yung logic dyan. No? Okay? So, baliktad talaga tawag dyan. Kunwari, you were asked. I think kasi yung tanong identify the reducing agent and the oxidizing agent. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung oxidizing agent, yun yung nag-undergo ng reduction. And yung reducing agent, yun yung nag-undergo ng oxidation reaction. Okay? So, as you can see, silver is reduced and we can call it the oxidizing agent using the Leora-Geroa. Okay? Aluminum is oxidized. Therefore, it is the reducing agent. Leora-Geroa. Yung reactant lang papangalanan mo, not the products. Ha? Wag, ganun yung trick dito pag quiz. No? Nabulol-bulol na ako. So, ganun yung trick dito pag quiz. Gagawin ko, ito yung choices. A, B, C, D. What is the reducing agent? May eliminate mo na yung dalawang answers. Kasi yung nasa product side, walang tawag sa kanila. Yung nasa reactant side lang yung may tawag. Either siya ay oxidizing agent or reducing agent. So, ganun gagawin nyo pag nasa quiz nyo, A, B, C, D. So, yung dalawa na makikita mo sa product side, discard mo na yon. So, you will be left with 2. Okay? Kung sino yung na-reduce, siya yung oxidizing agent. Sino yung oxidized, siya yung reducing agent. Baliktad ang tawag, pero yun, nabigay ko na yung logic sa inyo. Ito kasi yung mamimigay ng electron. So, siya yung reducing agent. Siya yung magre-reduce ng iba. Okay? Ito naman, ito yung tatanggap ng electron nito. So, since siya yung tumatanggap ng electron, tawag sa kanya oxidizing agent. Tinutulungan niya to. Ito, tinutulungan niya yon. Ito, tinutulungan niya yon. Kaya baliktad yung tawag sa kanya. Kung sino-sino nagtutulungan yun, baliktad tawag. So, same thing as this one. Mn is reduced. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung oxidizing agent. Okay. Oxidizing agent. Okay. Ayan, gets nyo na yan, agent. And chlorine is the reducing agent. If makalimutan mo yan or magkagulo-gulo yan sa utak mo, just remember Leora-Geroa. Yung nag-oxidize, yung Ra, reducing agent. Yung na-reduce, yun yung OA, oxidizing agent. Leora-Geroa. Okay? So, ayan. Ayan, so okay na tayo dun sa part na yan. Again, kapag multiple choice, pag nakita nyo na sa product yung choices, X na yon. So, tignan mo na lang yung dalawang matitira na nasa reactant. Kasi walang tawag sa kanila. Ang tawag sa kanila ay products lang. Okay, hindi sila special. Ito yung mga special. So, ganun. A, B, C, D. Find the reducing agent. Wala dito. So, dalawa na lang choices mo. Either tama ka ng pili or mali ka ng pili. Okay? So, 50-50 na lang yung chances mo tumama. Kaysa naman sa 25%, di ba? Tanggal mo na to eh. So, 50-50 na lang. Okay? So, yan. Now, the question is ganito. Well, hindi ba kayo nagtataka, no? Kasi, look at this, no? It seems that this equation on the top is balanced. It seems, no? Kasi, yung atom ay isa, aluminum ay isa. So, balance yung atoms nila. However, the charges are not. The charges are not. So, on the left side, ang charges ay positive 1 pati 0. Positive 1 sa left. On the right side, the charges are 0 and positive 3. Hindi balanced yung charge. Yung atoms balance, pero yung charge hindi. Pag ganun yung case, hindi balance yung equation. Okay? Ibig sabihin, sa redox reaction, we are not just only focused on the atoms. We are also focused on the charges. Why? Kasi nga, remember, electrons ang pinapasa dito. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, other than the atoms being balanced, kailangan yung electrons din balanced. Parehas dapat balanced yun. Okay? Ito din nasa baba. So, that means ito ay unbalanced. Hindi yan balanced talaga. Yes, balance yung atom, tigi-isa. Pero yung charges, hindi. As a result, hindi talaga balance yan. Kailangan mag-equal sila eh. Okay? So, yun yung idea ng redox. You are not just only focused on the atoms, rather you are also focused on the charges. If any of them is unbalanced, then the entire equation is unbalanced. Okay? Balance nga atom mo, hindi naman balance yung charges. O kaya, balance naman yung charge mo, hindi naman balance yung atom. Unbalanced yun. Okay? Sa baba naman, ang mapapansin nyo dito, on the right side, you have hydrogen. On the left side, wala. On the left side, 4 yung oxygen. On the right side, isa lang. So, unbalanced talaga yung equation natin in terms of atoms. Okay? So, unbalanced yung equation in terms of atoms. How about the charges? We have -1, -1. So, -2 sa left. On the right side, we have +2, 0, +2. Okay? So, as you can see, the atoms are not balanced as well as O lang yan. Ayan. So, yung atoms hindi balanced as well as yung charge, hindi rin balanced. So, we can call this an unbalanced equation. Hindi sila balanced. So, ano gagawin mo? Kapag may unbalanced equation, you have to balance them because we still follow the law of conservation of matter. Okay? That means that energy or matter cannot be created nor destroyed. Sabihin, how much you have on the left side, electron man yan or atoms, it should be equal with the other side. Electron man yan or atom. Okay? Kasi the reason why hindi balance yung charges, hindi kasi kumpleto electrons mo. Kailangan pagpantayin mo yon. Kasi law of conservation of matter eh. Sabi, hindi pwedeng hindi balance. Kailangan lahat balance. So, in balancing redox reaction, iba yung steps dito. And ito yon. But I will discuss this next meeting because ako ay nagugutom na rin. Alam ko kayo ay gutom na rin. Okay? So we have plenty of time pa naman. So for next meeting, we will continue with the balancing of the redox reaction. You can actually start with this now. Okay? Pwede na kayo mag-start niyan. Okay? And then we'll continue with electrochemical cells. Okay? So that's our flow. So ito na discuss natin today. Yan. Ito yung today. On Thursday, we will discuss this. Thursday. And then on Monday next week, ito naman. Then again, Thursday, quiz. Isa lang yung quiz dito, don't worry. Okay, isang quiz lang. So this is our schedule today. Ito yung na-discuss natin. Sa Thursday, ito naman. Then sa Monday uli, next week, ito naman. And on Thursday, I will give you the entire time to take the quiz now. So entire time, and also keep in mind na malapit na matapos yung SEM natin. Let me just pull my calendar here. Bibigay ko na yung mga calendar sa inyo. Ano to? Discard, delete. Ayan. Hindi ko alam kung ano. Ayan. So, pakita ko na yung calendar natin. So, ito, first day natin ng Electrochem. Second day ng Electrochem sa 29. Sa 3, ito ay last day ng Electrochem. Then, magkuquiz kayo on Thursday, May 6. Ay, hala, malapit na pala finals. Malapit na pala finals. So, instead of you taking the na lang, ito na pala yung finals week 17 to 22. Hindi pwede natin maano yan. Dapat tapusin na natin pala 'tong last part. Don't worry, yung last 2 topics naman ay ano na lang, kaya yun in 1 meeting lahat 'no, kasi maiksi lang yun, eh. Okay. Itong early 2 topics lang sa finals yung medyo mahaba. Pero yung last 2 topics madali na lang yun. Okay, concept na lang and then basic calculation. Dadalian ko na lang yung coverage nun. Okay, so ganun. Siguro instead of you having an entire day for the quiz, siguro magklase na lang din tayo nito. No? Pasensya na ha. Kasi ano na pala to. Finals na to 17 to 22. So pakinote na lang sa inyo. 17 to 22 is finals week. So hindi na tayo mag-skip ng day. Sorry. Pasensya na. Don't worry, isa lang naman yung quiz dyan. Madali lang yan. Ayan na naman ako sa madali. Okay. So, ayan. So, ito yung last day ng discussion ng Electrochem. Then, I will open the quiz. Ito yung Chapter 7, separations. Kaya yun in 1 day. Mabilis lang yun eh. And then, on 10, we will have the spectro. Kaya yan in 1 day lang din. And then, tapos na. On Thursday, before the finals, Edelfiter. Holiday kaya yan. Okay, so anyway. So ito, hindi na tayo magkaklase nito May 13 para makapag-review na kayo sa finals. Ayun na lang ha, pasensya na, tuloy-tuloy na tayo. Kasi sakto lang pala yung time natin for the finals. Okay, so yun, tuloy-tuloy tayo ha. Yun, pasensya na uli. And yun, hopefully okay lang siya. Okay, so dadalian ko na lang yung naman yung topics. Okay, so yun lang. Take note of the dates na lang. The discussion, pahinga, then exams. Ayun, lapit na. So, kabahan na tayo lahat. Okay. So with that so thank you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me na lang. Okay? So I'll stop the recording and upload this as for your reference. Okay, so thank you.